Alright, so when I was a kid, I'd say maybe about 10 years old, maybe even younger than that actually. It was quite a while ago. I was the biggest Dragon Ball Z fan ever. And I don't know if you know the show Dragon Ball Z. If you don't, then you probably shouldn't, you wouldn't even care about this video. But I probably played every single freaking Dragon Ball Z game that I could get my hands on. I even played Dragon Ball Z Sagas, which I thought was fucking awesome when I was a kid, but apparently people hated it, but I thought it was awesome. So yeah, I probably played every single Dragon Ball Z game that I could get my grubby mitts on. I remember when I was 10 or so, I used to spend so much time in this internet cafe because that's the only source of internet that I had. And I used to read the IGN forums to get news about new Dragon Ball Z games. And this was like Budokai 1 and 2 and 3, like those days. Not Budokai Tenkaichi, Budokai like 1 and 2. Yeah, I spent so much time on that paying for internet, which was like so fucking expensive, but I wasted so much money on it. But anyways, I've played probably every game released, every Dragon Ball Z game released, like every fighting game, I'd say, since then. I've played every single DBZ game I could get my hands on. Legacy of Goku, that thing was the shit though. So little fat me was really keen for this thing called Earth Special Forces. And that's the game you're looking at in the background is me busy playing that. I think I was playing that in 2005 or 2004, 2005, which makes it about 13 fucking years ago, dude. I am old, older than I remember. But this is the best Dragon Ball Z game I've ever played, and it still is the best Dragon Ball Z game I've ever played to me. And I still consider it the best one so far. It doesn't have the best graphics or the best game or the best combos, sorry. Gameplay is legit. It doesn't have any of the best like melee system or graphics or anything like that, but it is so freaking awesome. Like everything about this game is just so much fun, and I'm gonna go through why this is cool and why I'm excited for this thing called Earth Special Forces final release, which is coming out apparently this year or next year, and why I've been waiting 13 years for this final release to come out. 13 freaking years, boys. 13 freaking years. But like shit, this game was exhilarating as fuck. First of all, my biggest gripe with a lot of games, and this is for balanced reasons, so don't take this as me thinking they're bad games. This is totally me. But transformations matter so much in this game, in DBZ. It's a Half-Life mod, so it's for Half-Life 1. So I'm just gonna say DBZ Half-Life or Earth Special Forces, so just keep that in mind. Yeah, so transformations really mattered in this game, to the point where you could double or triple your strength just from transforming, which is something that doesn't happen in fighting games at all, and it has to be like that for balance, because in the anime, Dragon Ball Z characters go Super Saiyan 4 now, or Super Saiyan God, whatever it's called. I don't keep up with the anime anymore, but they go like ridiculous transformation, to the point where it's like 250 times their base strength. So I can totally understand why it's in fighting games. It's just a temporary power up, like in Naruto, Ninja Storm, I think it's called. It's just a little power up when you transform, and they just took that in DBZ Xenoverse 2 as well. It's the same thing. It's just a little power up. Some people really hate the idea of transformations mattering a lot. I'm in the exact opposite camp. So transformations in this game really matter a lot. It's a huge deal when you transform. You get 2 to 3 times your power, and then you could probably transform 3 to 4 times after that. So in total, you could be getting like 20 to 30 times your original strength from transforming. And the power level, the number at the bottom left there above your HP, is your lifeblood in this game. Anyways, so what makes this game my favorite Dragon Ball Z game, and why am I playing this? Well, I got sent this screenshot, like a screenshot or a webpage from the new Earth Special Forces, the devs. They've been speaking about it, so it suddenly piqued my interest, and suddenly I'm back into the Dragon Ball Z fan club by far. Like, this is gonna be insanely cool. So first up, what makes this the best Dragon Ball Z game ever, in my opinion? You have power levels in the game, similar to how they were in anime. As in, like, you know, you're using a scouter to see other people's power levels. So you have that in this game. And the power levels define your strength. So which character you're playing doesn't matter beyond your playstyle. So just like in the anime, your power level is everything. And as I said, in this game, your power level is your lifeblood. it's a measurable amount that affects everything you do. So if you throw out a Kamehameha at somebody throwing out a Kamehameha at you, so imagine you have like a locked beam battle kind of thing. Who's going to win the beam battle? Well, the person with the higher power level. Pretty much. If the power level is different by about 100,000, then it comes down to 3 things. How much energy you put into it, how much power you have, and how many times you click your mouse. So it's a beam battle. On the right there, you'll see me do it quite often. Bottom right, that's the power level. But your power level is I've said it so many times now, power level, power level, power level. But that is the deciding factor. So that is the end all of a beam battle. If you have 1 million more power than somebody else, you can click maybe 70 to 80% less than they need to defeat you. So it just makes things so freaking easy. They won't be able to touch you in beam battles unless you really don't try. So if you don't try, they can maybe win, but it'll still be incredibly tough. But you get different level beams and all of that. So the green one I'm using in the footage is the generic power beam that every DBZ character uses. But if I'm up against a Kamehameha, that Kamehameha will be a lot stronger than my power beam if we were the same power level. Does that make sense? I don't know. I hope it does. But the power level in this game is the defining thing, and it's what makes it Dragon Ball Z to me. It's not a fighting game. Every character is balanced in that they have transformations and all that, and all the transformations add up to the same times level. So you'll have the same power level, but it just depends on how well you play. The more damage you do, the more power you get. There's also a Zenkai system in the game. Every character has Zenkai, so every time they die, they get a bit stronger if the person who killed them had a higher power level. So the game will naturally progress towards everyone having the same power level, and it will go up together. But it's just such a cool... It's such an authentic Dragon Ball Z feeling to have a power level. It really is. But what really makes the game with this power level is that one player can start to dominate. And it does come down to skill in the beginning. But the higher your power level is compared to other characters, the less skill it requires to dominate them. And at that point, you start to get, like 2 versus 1 or 3 versus 1. So say we're versing against Broly, and Broly has 5 million power, and I'm Goku with 1 million, and there's a Vegeta who's at like 1.3 or something. It'll have to be us 2 versus him, otherwise we'll lose. And that's what makes it really fun. That is what's so cool. Because I've had so many times when it's like 7 versus 1. There was this guy called Carnage at this internet cafe I used to go to. And his favorite character was Cell. And he used to dominate with Cell. And pretty much it would have to be 6 or 7 of us versus him to make it work. Which brings me to my second point. It's the teamwork in this game. You get an awesome feeling for teamwork because of a few major things. One is teaming up to deal with like an incredibly potent character, which is what I just spoke about. Sometimes they could have 6 or 7 million power versus you with only 2 to 3, and that's because they've been in the server for longer, stuff like that, or they just dominated everyone because they know how to play the character really well. Every character has a different play style. So you have Trunks, who's pretty slow, but he has a sword, so if he gets up close, he just destroys you with his sword. His melee, instead of having fists, he has a sword, and it does twice the damage. Another thing is that you can add bots to the game, like super bots, and they will wreck your shit, dude. They will destroy you in every single way. Well, you can configure their power levels, so, like, skill's a big deal, but the bots are really good. I'm playing against bots here, and they would kill me if we were the same power level. Just happens to be like that. But the idea, what I'm trying to drive home, is that the idea of having 1 versus 4 or 5 is such an authentic Dragon Ball Z feeling. And Xenoverse came, I wouldn't say close, but it tried to emulate it, but it just failed. It just wasn't fun. The game was fun, but that aspect didn't add to it. But having one person really dominate is just such an awesome, awesome feeling. But obviously power levels are transferable, so it's not an end game once someone gets a little bit stronger than everyone else. And it takes a big difference to make a big difference. So they'll need like 1 million or 2 more. Like in the video, I have 113 million, and they have 4 to 5 each. So just to give you an idea of what it takes, and I'm still dying. Thirdly, and I'd say this is a minor one, but the game allows like 30 people on one map. You can have up to 48 max, I think. So regardless of whether or not Xenoverse or any other Dragon Ball Z game feels great to play, this game gives you an actual battlefield. It feels really freaking good. It's like playing Naruto, the one Naruto game where you can take out like 20 ninjas. It just feels so good. It's the first time that I've played a Dragon Ball Z game, and I feel like an authentic Dragon Ball Z fighter. Like, there are strong people and there are weak people, and you could be fighting against a team of 10 or so, and there's one person on that team who's stronger than the others, but you just mercilessly wipe through the other 9, and this person just stops you. It's just such an excellent copy of the authentic Dragon Ball Z feel. And there's an inherent strategy in this game, such as the strategy of waiting for your enemy to throw out a beam. So imagine the enemy team are playing against me as Goku, like in the video that I showed. Imagine if every time I threw out a Kamehameha, they all timed their Kamehameha, so there was three beams versus my 1. They would overpower me. I can't click as many as 3 people can, and my power level will make a big difference, but not towards 3 people, because it's very unlikely to have 3 times the powers of other people. So yeah, this isn't a reskinned fighter like Xenoverse or Budokai or any of the Naruto games, for example. This is a brawler mixed with an arena fighter. It's more similar to Quake than anything else. There's such a good strategy in the game of positioning and all of that, and making sure you have enough energy to last out in a fight, because the minute you run out of energy, you descend. So I'll go from Super Saiyan 4 to normal state, just because I don't have power to maintain my state. This is so freaking cool, dude. And finally, and probably the smallest out of everything I've spoken about, there's no waiting for a character reveal or a roster reveal, anything like that. Every character in the game you can add in yourself. I wanted to play Super Saiyan 4 Goku, so I added in Super Saiyan 4 Goku here. There are tons of mod packs, there's a wealth of resources, you can add in whoever you want. The most recent character, I've been messing around with a lot of characters. I've got the Super Pack, which adds in all the DBZ Super characters. So I've got Trunks. Trunks is probably one of the most broken characters I've ever seen, the Dragon Ball Z Super Trunks, because at the end he has like 5 transformations, and if all of them are like 2 to 3 times your power level, that's pretty ridiculous. It gets pretty insane. So you can play as Beerus or Super Saiyan God. Pretty much the anime or the manga can have one character come out, and by the end of the week I guarantee you someone has made a model and sprites based on this character already. It's just really cool. If I wanted to make a character called Barky and play as like a wolf man, I could. I totally could. I can make all his abilities myself very easily. You know, it could take me a little while, but all the resources are there, and they're super easy to use. So it's really fucking cool, dude. I've been messing around on the server browser, and I've played against Narutos and Luffy's and Ichigos and all of this stuff, dude. If you don't watch anime, you probably missed everything I just said. But yeah, it's such a cool feeling. There are some broken characters. Obviously, every server has broken characters on it. But if you wanted, you could host your own server, and I've done that multiple times now and had people join, and it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, Earth Special Forces Final is coming out. I'll put the video right here. Just watch it. Compare the video to the footage I've shown you before now, and you can see why I'm so excited for Earth Special Forces final release. It's gonna be amazing, seriously, and it's been 13 years, so I'm hoping it has no choice but to be amazing, because that would be pretty freaking cool. So yeah, I'm gonna put the trailer here. Come talk to me on the Discord, tell me what you think. Thank you very much for watching, I appreciate it so much. See you guys.